How are you feeling today? One day, without warning, you wake up and realize everything around you has changed. Not the world, but the way you see it. The song that once made your heart tremble is now just a string of empty notes. The morning coffee has lost its taste. Conversations that used to feel warm now sound like scripted lines on repeat. The world seems drained of color, as if someone has quietly pulled the life out of the ordinary. And then, fear sets in. You fear you're slipping, that you're becoming numb to life. You fear you've lost something precious, though you can't name what it is. You fear something is wrong with your mind, perhaps depression or a kind of nameless spiritual exhaustion. But amid the confusion, there's a small part of you, very small, very still, that watches the emptiness in a strangely calm way. As if your soul is whispering, no, you are not broken. You are simply waking up. And perhaps every true journey begins at the very moment we think it has all come to an end. When everything that once thrilled you suddenly turns dull, the human instinct is to resist. We try to do something, replay an old song, meet familiar faces, travel, change routines, hoping to reclaim that spark of aliveness we once knew. But the harder we try, the deeper the emptiness feels. Like someone trying to hold on to the sunset with bare hands, only to realize the light fades faster when we fear losing it. And then one day, in the quiet fatigue of trying to feel it again, a small thought passes through. Maybe. This isn't wrong. A simple thought, yet it opens a door in the locked room of your mind. Perhaps losing joy isn't a loss, but a transformation, like dry soil cracking open before the rain, like consciousness expanding and the old emotions are too small to contain what's coming, must fall away. You begin to see differently. Your vision becomes clearer, not happier. You stop chasing feelings and start watching them instead. And in that moment, when you no longer try to resurrect old excitement, something subtle begins to unfold. Your awareness is stepping into a new phase of being. Since childhood, we've been taught that joy is a reward, something to be earned, achieved, or created through effort. And so, we grew up believing that happiness is a destination. But perhaps no one ever told us this. Most of the joy we feel in life is not pure joy. It's simply the exhale after tension, not the presence of happiness, but the brief pause of absence. It's the silence that follows the tumultuous storm of need. We feel joy when eating because we were hungry. We feel happy when loved because we once felt lonely. We feel exhilarated in success because we once feared failure. And when those lacks are momentarily filled, emotion overflows and we call it happiness. But if you look closely, you'll see that joy depends entirely on the emptiness that came before. There is no hunger, no delight. There is no fear, and there is no peace, no lack, and joy disappears. We keep living this way, chasing the temporary endings of unease. We call it purpose, but in truth, we're simply running in circles of desire and fulfillment, mistaking the relief from pain for the experience of joy. Like someone scratching an itch and confusing the end of irritation with pleasure itself. The Buddha once said, "Life is suffering, not to sow despair, but to help us see the nature of the joy we chase, that it is always conditional and therefore never truly lasting." And perhaps that's why only when those conditions begin to dissipate do we finally have a chance to glimpse this kind of joy that never needed a reason to exist. There comes a moment, quiet, gentle, yet profoundly decisive, when you truly see, not with the mind, but with the deepest intuition of the soul. You realize that all these years, you were never really seeking joy, you were simply running away from the emptiness within. Everything that once made you happy, a compliment, an achievement, a warm glance suddenly becomes transparent. You can still feel it. But you no longer believe in its magic. It's just a beautiful wisp of smoke disappearing the moment you try to hold on to it. Then you begin to see. What we call living joyfully is often just a subtle act of forgetting ourselves. We eat to avoid hunger. We work to forget the void. We love to forget loneliness. And so, we patch emotional bandages over our souls. I hope no one notices how torn we have become inside. But once you see through this game, all the old rules start to collapse. What once excited you loses its grip. The itch is gone, so the act of scratching loses meaning. And for the first time in your life, you found yourself standing before the raw emptiness of truth. Nothing outside of you can save you from yourself. It's terrifying because when the glitter fades, you see clearly. All those old joys were just cycles of craving and escape. And when you stop running, stop chasing, the entire game suddenly falls apart. There is no longer any excitement, no more driving, only an absolute stillness, as if you've just fallen out of a long dream. Yet in that very stillness, while your mind trembles, your soul finally begins to breathe. Imagine you've lived your whole life in a room lit only by candlelight. That faint glow is enough to cast trembling shadows on the walls. You watch them, entranced, interpreting, attaching meaning to every flicker. Those shadows become your world where you love, hate, desire, and suffer. Then one day, the door opens slightly. A flood of pure white light pours in. At first, it blinds you so intensely that you have to shut your eyes. The shadows vanish. Everything that once seemed alive in that dim room disappears. You panic. What just happened? Why has everything I loved vanished? You long to return to the familiar silhouettes, but they're gone. Only light remains and a vast, frightening emptiness. That is the moment of awakening. Because what you're losing is not joy, but the illusion of it. That sense of being alive while watching those shadows was never true life. It was simply mistaking motion for existence. Now, as the real light floods in, everything false must dissolve. But don't despair. For when your eyes begin to adjust, you'll see the room has not disappeared. It's still there, deep, vast, still, and infinitely radiant. The only thing that has changed is that you no longer see through shadows. You see directly. You no longer see through concepts, not through emotion. It's not a matter of desire, just seeing. And this is the turning point, where the death of old joy becomes the birth of true awareness. A way of seeing is no longer based on the darkness of opposites, but on the light of being itself. When the true light finally enters and the familiar shadows dissolve, the first thing we humans often do is panic. We scramble to bring the shadows back. We try to feel alive again. We change environments, people, and passions. We play louder music, work harder, and love more intensely. All of it just to feel something, anything, instead of facing the silence inside. But the more we chase, the more exhausted we become. Because we don't realize we are addicted to emotion. Just like an addict craving the next fix, we need a new dose to quiet the hunger that the previous dose created. We're not truly joyful. We're simply escaping the absence of joy. Not truly happy, just slightly less in pain. And so we move from one high to another, calling it experience, but it's really a socially approved form of running away. Then one day, when your body, mind, and soul grow too worn out to keep running, the stimulants lose their power. Nothing excites you like it used to. That's when detox begins. And here's the secret. Every genuine awakening starts with a long, quiet emptiness. Like a recovering addict trembling through withdrawal, you feel dry, numb, and lifeless without a reason to continue. But in that seeming death, the old self is dissolving. What do you call a loss of feeling? Is simply the absence of artificial stimulation. No more dopamine highs, no more adrenaline rushes. Only you, bare and still, face your own presence. And if you can be brave enough not to flee, not to manufacture another emotion, then right in the heart of that emptiness, something extraordinary begins to appear. An unconditional peace begins to emerge. It's not radiant, it's not thrilling, but it's profoundly real. It doesn't need emotions to exist, because it is the ground from which all emotions arise. I once knew a man like that. He was the kind of person people admired. Passionate, alive, always doing something. Every day of his life was a long checklist: reading, traveling, meeting people, creating, experiencing. He believed that living fully meant never stopping. He used to say, with eyes burning bright, I would rather not waste a single minute of this life. But over time, something began to change. The things that once thrilled him started to lose their color. Distant journeys no longer felt new. Beautiful books stopped touching his heart. Everything he loved became hollow. As if someone had quietly taken the fire out of him. He panicked. He thought he was getting old, uninspired, and losing himself. He tried everything to feel alive again. New hobbies, farther places, but the harder he tried, the more drained he became. Until one day, when there was nothing left to grasp, he simply sat down. In the small garden behind his house, he told me that day he did absolutely nothing. He did not engage in any activities such as reading, listening to music, or thinking. He just sat there, watched the wind move through the leaves, listened to the faint hum of insects, the breath of the earth, and suddenly, a strange stillness enveloped him. Not an empty quiet, but a peace so deep it needed no reason. He said, I'm not content, but I'm completely enough. There is no joy or sorrow, nothing to seek, nothing to lose, just being here. For the first time in years, he no longer wanted to live more, because finally he realized life was never lacking. He had only been too busy to notice it. In that moment, all his past pursuits, all those frantic escapes from stillness, appeared clearly as illusions. And he smiled, not because he had found something new, but because at last he had stopped searching. There are seasons in life when everything grows so quiet that you start to believe your emotions have died. No excitement, no meaning. Even the things that once moved you deeply now pass by like cold wind through an empty field. Most people call this a loss, but for those who are awakening, it is one of the most sacred transformations, because in the realm of the spirit, there is no such thing as death, only the dissolving of what was, so that what is meant to be can emerge. Imagine a caterpillar inside its cocoon. It doesn't know it's becoming a butterfly. All it knows is that everything once familiar is melting away. Its body is breaking down, its old form is disappearing. If it could think, it would probably be despair, believing I'm dying. But it isn't dying, it is being reborn in silence, and so are you. When you fall into that state of emptiness, it isn't an ending, it's the womb of inner birth. Everything you once depended on, beliefs, feelings, passions, is dissolving. Not because they were wrong, but because they've grown too small for the soul you are becoming. And yes, it hurts. Like the walls of the cocoon cracking open as the first light breaks through. Painful but real, empty but alive. During this time, your mind will try to fill the void. with music, books, people, and distractions. But the more you run, the wider it grows. Because the only thing this space asks of you is to stop and simply be within it. Don't call it depression, call it the stillness before a new form. Because when everything you thought you were begins to fall away, one truth remains: you are not dying, only the old you is shedding, so that you can truly be born. At some point, you'll realize what you thought was a loss of joy was really just the loss of emotional addiction. No more thrilling highs, no more devastating crashes, no more mountains to climb or valleys to cry in. There is only ordinary life, a day like every other day, a breath like every other breath. At first, that frightens you, because you've grown used to the storm, to the rush of adrenaline. Measure your worth by the intensity of your feelings. When everything goes quiet, you think you're dying, but you're not. It's simply the stillness of someone awakening from a very long dream. You begin to see beauty where no one else looks. Light falling on an old wall, the sound of a spoon touching a cup, the rhythm of your own breath on a calm morning. No wow, no amazing. There was only a profound and serene simplicity. And within that simplicity, you understand life was never missing miracles. You are just too noisy to hear, too busy to see, too hungry to notice that you already had everything. When you stop comparing, stop expecting, stop demanding that life give you some grand meaning, then comes this small, ordinary moment. Suddenly becomes pure completeness. True joy no longer comes from what happens, but from being present with what is happening. It's no longer bright but deep, no longer burning but warm. It needs no reason, because it is the ground of all reasons. That's when you understand. Real joy is not a feeling to be achieved, but a state of being that no longer needs to achieve anything at all. Here, the journey does not end, it simply returns to the place you were never truly away from. You realize that every search for happiness, for love, for meaning, for awakening was only a circle you drew around yourself. You went so far, so wide, only to come back and see that every answer had always been right where you stood. You no longer crave to feel joy again, because now you see joy never left. It was only hidden beneath the clouds of expectation and desire. You no longer wish to find yourself, because suddenly you know you were never lost. And in the moment you stop searching, everything becomes so clear that it no longer needs explanation. The bird song is just the bird song. The breath is just the breath. This moment simply is. There is nothing to enhance or modify. There is nothing to take away. Nothing to make better or more special, because you finally understand the most extraordinary thing. This very ordinariness is unfolding now, and the strange thing is, when you stop trying to awaken, awakening happens softly. When you stop trying to be enough, enoughness naturally appears. At last, you exhale deeply, not to let go, but because there is nothing left to let go of. All striving, all searching, clinging, and explaining dissolves into silence, and in that silence you hear a sound so faint, so pure, so real, like the whisper of the universe. You've come home, not to a different home, but to the one you've always been in, not as a final reward, but as for the truth that was there from the beginning. You were never lacking, you were never lost, you just remembered. And that's the content of this episode. If you feel a sense of resonance with these reflections, don't forget to follow the channel and stay tuned for the upcoming episodes. See you soon. Bye.